And I move in a lot of black people here. We take the property value all the way fucking down.
You better motherfucking stop.
You know,
nigga.
It's not really worth the energy.
Yeah.
Mostly. I don't. That is a very thing.
We are peasants.
Yeah, that's how I feel when I get on. You feel like every time I get on.
Hey, mamacita, muy bonito. Baby, I got it. Like Mama Africa, you just way too bad. You the top, make a man go mad. You just way too bad. You the top, make a man wanna spend that bag. Bounce that ass. Got me so in love with it, that cara.
Because they were recording like
You on fire. Got a nigga singing like la 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 la. Let that shit go. Act like that you got to let that shit go.
48 laws of power.
Welcome back to the Zanza Cast. I am Tim.
And I guess I'm Richie.
I thought we should talk about branding versus just
Generic
shipping or selling products. We don't know which one's best or which one anybody should take, but we got a few thoughts on what we think or what we believe to be best for long term.
But then again, like, I mean, there you kind of like, you know, said it already, like, you are more leaning towards long term. But at the same time, like, I think like a lot of people go into, especially like internet-based
Businesses, yeah.
without the understanding that it could be like something that sustains itself over time.
That is
A
true.
lot of people go into it for like the short-term gain because it's easy to start an internet-based business.
Yeah.
It's in some cases not much capital required and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So most people don't see the potential for it to be long-term. It's just more like I'm doing it now and you know making money from it.
Yeah, just get as much as I can and just get the fuck out, without really thinking about like things that you could be doing parallel to that are actually going to be able to sustain your business or whatever it is that you do online for the long term.
But do you think it's possible to build a solely internet-based business that has longevity?
I think it's absolutely possible to build an online business that has longevity. It all comes back to how you do it, really. If you go into it with the wrong idea in mind, just you're motivated.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes there's quick money to be made and getting out right after. So it's just a mindset situation. It's just what you want, really.
Okay, like what I was thinking, is like, for example, if you go on Instagram, is a lot of like, you know, generic products that pop up and they're fads. You know, like there is no real longevity in this.
Into it, yeah.
It's like, it's several different people or, you know, brands, if you want to call them that are selling these generic products that they disappear like they're here today, gone tomorrow kind of situation.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, there is a shitload of money that's being spent on the advertisement for these products and stuff like that. But like 6 months down the road, you ain't never see nobody with them. 6 months down the road, like that site that sold you this shit don't exist no more.
No.
You know? So, I mean, in that sense, there is, you know, the quick buck to be made. And that was kind of, you know, what in some ways made me question, like, did these people just go into it entirely for, you know, just selling this generic shit to get this money for this period of time, as opposed to are they really thinking about it seriously as a business that should have some amount of longevity or that they envision themselves building for the next couple of years? I don't know if I answered your question, but...
I think partly answered it because what you describe now is the online business as you've been talking about before.
Yeah.
What is the other side of it?
And we were talking about like
generic and then they building your brand.
yeah,
thing. And
basically just like selling generic stuff under a pseudo brand name that's not gonna be around for a while, and then selling branded products. And how these two things contrast each other, and I think that's the other side. There really isn't any other, other than just like opening a store and
But even a branded product, you can have it solely online. You don't necessarily need to have like a physical location.
No, you don't.
It's just that you dedicate more time and effort to developing your brand and expanding your reach, as opposed to just throwing a wide net with a generic product.
Yeah, and just hoping somebody bites or whatever.
Exactly, and so the flip side, I guess, to the generic thing is methodically building your brand and investing time, and of course money is also a part of like the whole equation. And just crafting whatever it is that you're building and trying to make into like a recognized brand in a very deliberate way. So you craft everything as per you would want it to be, as opposed to just like, okay, I have these things, I have 500 of these things, I'm trying to sell all 500 of these. Don't matter how I do it, I'm just selling it. As opposed to like, you know what, I will take my time, I will make sure that the product is good, I'll make sure that I maintain quality, and over time I have, proper lines of communication with my customers and stuff like that. Because like, how many times you buy shit online where like you might need, to just get in contact with the seller, and it's just like it's non-existent.
It's impossible. So yeah, branded and non-branded basically, and this both exists online. I don't think you can have like a physical store and not branded. Whatever.
No, but that's the thing, yeah. Because once you move into the physical space as opposed to just having an online business, it's a whole different level of commitment.
Completely.
And you can't be unbranded with the physical location.
No,
like
you
that.
can't. You
That
just
ain't
can't
gonna
have an
work.
open shop.
You can't have like an open shop with generic shit.
Like, oh, wow, this is unknown. Whatever.
Nah, you can't really have that.
But like, getting back to topic a little bit, you asked me, and you kind of knew what I was gonna say even before I said it.
Yeah, I be doing that, like mind reader shit.
Yeah, because now, but you understand my perspective and the person that I am.
Yeah, of course
so you
I
can
do.
imagine, because it's like I like for the things that I start to have longevity. So I'm always
but that's also why I wanted.
towards-
That's also why I wanted you to give me the flip side of that. Because like having a certain mindset, it can be biased in the sense that like once you don't understand the other side of whatever your mindset is, you tend to go blindly forward in a way that you ignore certain realities.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And because that's not a part of your reality, so you ignore it, you also ignore things that could potentially be competitors, not necessarily in the long term, but they could potentially be taking a part of your market, because then you also have to develop a strategy to combat these, up and comers who just, here today, gone tomorrow kind of situation.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that we probably need to be a little bit more in depth on. How does a business or building a brand that has longevity as its goal combat generic
Instant graduate type situation? Oh wow!
So that's kind of like a segue into the question or what I'm trying to get at.
That's broad, but like in my simple, humble understanding, it's just that if you want to have a good business, or if you want to have something that is going to be around for a long time, you really have to brand it. You have to create a situation where people understand that when they see or when they come in contact with your products or the logo, they feel a certain way, because that's how you designed it and that's what you wanted to portray. So there's like an umbrella that covers everything else that you do.
Okay. So if I get this right, then like the way you combat generic competitors then is basically building a feeling around your brand.
You got to
creating or tapping into
curating
emotions that your customer base will basically gravitate towards.
Yeah, and this comes down to like, it is a very long list of things to think about when you're branding, but I feel like when you're starting a business, you need direction, and that connects back to your why. But you know why you're starting something.
Like we talk about this why a lot still.
Yeah. You know why you're starting something, and you know who you want to get it to. So you got to figure out what's the best way to be able to communicate with these people, and I think that's exactly what branding is.
Yeah, more or less. Like branding is a method of communication. Like,
Pretty much.
Like you communicate a certain set of values.
Yeah.
You communicate, or you try to tap into a certain emotion with branding.
Yeah, for the ones who feel that way, they
Yeah.
gravitate towards it because it says something to them.
But isn't it difficult? Like, I mean, I could go buy a T-shirt. Funny enough, like let's put this like in terms of Zanzibar, for example. Like I could go buy a T-shirt for what, $10,
You can.
which is like what, 100 crowns here.
About, yeah.
Don't really mean nothing, that it doesn't really have any real. If I just wanted a T-shirt,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, and I don't connect with the T-shirt, or I don't feel like, all right, this represents me or whatever. Not, but it's a cheap T-shirt. And
Facts.
I want a T-shirt.
Yeah.
And that is one thing, but then the other thing is, like, as a brand, do you compromise to combat like that kind of, you know, easy access, generic, maybe even low quality things?
To be honest with you, as a brand, you can't compromise on those things because you're not. The idea of why you started the business is not to get everyone; it's to get the people you are trying to reach. And this is like a set group of people, so it's like it comes down to like messaging and what it is that you say, how you write it, tone and everything like that, because it appeals to a certain person. It's not like throwing a wide net; it's throwing a net that's just big enough to catch the fish I want.
Okay, so you mean then that whatever your target audience is, it cannot be swayed by, you know, generic stuff, or because of a targeted message. Is that what you're saying?
I think not fully, because people receive things very differently.
Okay.
But here's the thing, coming from a company point of view, I know who I want to reach, and I research enough to be able to understand my communications method. Or I have knowledge that inform how I try and communicate my messages to the people. The idea here is to get the people that I want to have as customers, not everybody.
Okay.
I don't want everybody.
But then the question is, like, and I guess this is maybe a little bit of a tangent to go off on.
No, it's okay, go.
But
Yeah.
let's say, and this could be for any business, actually, you know? Let's say your business gets to a point where you are attracting the customer base that you want, you are growing steadily, and all of a sudden, some up-and-comer who is, you know, not necessarily in it for the long haul, starts to imitate your style. And we see this with, like, Yeezys, for example.
Yeah.
We see this with, what else? What other brand is popular? Balenciaga.
But yeah, Balenciaga, yeah, they were still in the
Like,
brand all day.
what alternatives do you have to combat that kind of plagiarism?
I think
Because them fake Yeezys look real though. It's like
I'll tell you what, like, I don't think it's ever about the product. If I'm gonna be completely honest, it's just how it's communicated to the customer. Okay. So it's a competitive market, and if a company, it's a competitive market, and also don't forget the little fraction of it that has to do with trends. So if a company notices that this product is hot and people are buying it, and they want some of that market share, then maybe you make a replica and
then
they
adapt to the
differentiate it
current
just
trend.
a little bit. It's in essence the same exact product, but how it's communicated to the people buying it is completely different from how Balenciaga would do it. So my customers will still receive this product, but they will feel the way my brand values are set up, the way I want them to feel.
And how do you make them feel what you want them to feel?
It's just brand messaging, to be honest with you.
How do you do that?
Well, so how you do your brand messaging is just realizing the values you would like somebody to see, like the personality of what your business, the personality of your business. If you ever met me as a person, right, you know, I can be patient and sometimes impatient. I can be fast and sometimes slow. It just really depends on the situation. It's the same way you look at a brand.
You know, this actually just like, it just clicked something in my head. It's funny when we talk about like what you communicate about a brand and how you communicate and that kind of thing, yeah. But there's a certain kind of communication that is. I don't really know how to word it. Okay. But it's definitely a telepathic kind of communication that you can only utilize like colors to create a mood. Yeah. To basically transmit certain kinds of information. Yeah.
Transmit attitude, transmit tone.
What you more? You're the smart one. What's that called?
Well, I'm the smart one.
Yeah.
It's called non-verbal communication.
No, I know it's non-verbal communication. Come on, like no shit, no words are spoken, but there's no. But there's a specific. I don't remember what it is, but there's something specific for you for just that, transmitting mood and
Is it color topography?
No, not really. I'm gonna have to do research.
No, it's all right. You're allowed to Google.
I ain't about to take my phone out. Like I ain't doing that. But there is it.
It's something that we can find.
It's a particular way of messaging using colors. A particular color scheme. You use color schemes. You don't necessarily need text. But it's color schemes to transmit mood and create a certain ambience. And this is especially like in fashion. Which is why like you have different shades of certain things. Like pink is not just pink, for example.
No, but that is like you use green if you want the calm feeling.
Yeah.
And that is something you use in therapy as well.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure what word there is.
Yeah, I don't remember what it's called. There's a term for it. There is a term for it. I'm almost 100% sure that there's a term for it.
Probably is. I don't think I know.
Yeah, not me either. Like, I'm not that educated,
I know how to call it in psychotherapy.
The answer is called chromatic.
What?
Yeah. Which time you choose for communicating through colors? This is even chroma.
What did you just do? I don't think you Googled that.
I did.
Yeah, you did. Like, man just call it chromatic. Chromatic is a type of non-verbal. See? Yeah.
Chromatic. Non-verbal communication through colors.
All right. See, if you ain't never learned nothing.
Don't ever say we never taught you nothing.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. There you go.
Either way, we go back to branding and messaging and reaching the core audience or the people that you want to reach out to. You can do that through colors just to connect with what you're talking about.
Yeah, but that's kind of what I was trying to get at. Like, is it like a conscious choice?
It is definitely, bro.
These are brand colors, and this is the vibe I am trying to convey with these colors. And because one of the things I noticed, like on the website, I noticed you play around a lot, like with a lot of like layouts and stuff like that. And you're always on there doing different stuff.
I'm always doing different
shit,
man.
Yeah. There is a certain amount of consistency with the energy surrounding like just the site, like the website. It's like I never go in there and feel strange. Like what the, even if you've moved around stuff, like it never feels strange. Like it never feels like this don't belong here. If you know what I mean.
I don't know what you mean.
And so then the question is like, is this like a conscious like thing that you do to create or maintain the ambience?
So my question, my answer to this would be a bit wordy, but when we were starting Zanzibar, we needed to find out what it is that we wanted people to see or associate us with, what they will feel when they look at the website. So we are a brand with a slogan, exception to the rule. It is a very bold statement. You know what I'm saying? It's a very bold statement, and that has to translate through our messaging, our website. It has to translate. To message website. What else do we have? All our mediums, even Instagram and social media.
Yeah, because that's the other thing too. Like it's a theme like right across like the Instagram, it's a website. And
So the reason why we went with the colors that we wanted, we have black.
You made a TikTok now, ain't you?
Now we got plenty. And we made a TikTok, we made plenty of TikToks, and we made plenty of reels.
Hey,
but
bro,
we went with red, we went with black, and we went with white. And you guys know what those colors mean.
Yeah, but side note, like, bro, I was just like on I was just on my phone, and I was like, this YouTube notification jump up. I'm like, what's this? I'm like, press it. I see it's mad shorts. Like you've been putting YouTube shorts too.
Now I got plenty of shorts. Like whichever way we can go.
And shorts on the website. You see, hey dude, you missed plugging that. Like
I got a bunch of shorts. But like now we're jumping around a little bit. But the reason why we went with those colors, they're supposed to transmit our message. Exception to the rule is such a bold statement. And that has to translate through our clothing, and it has to translate through the way we talk and our visuals. So when you go to the website, you will see a lot of black and you see a lot of white, and then you see red as an accent color. There is contrast in between there, but they're primary colors and they're bold.
But isn't it like you know classic on some level, like these schemes, these color schemes?
These are classics.
These are timeless though.
They're very very timeless. But again, it's like you have to pick the colors that go with whatever theme that you're trying to convey with whatever you're doing. So if we were a clothing brand that didn't have the slogan that we have, say we were into flowers and we have like a lot of floral dresses and all kinds of stuff. You want something softer. You want something that goes with that vibe.
But then again, doesn't this come back also to what we originally started talking about? You know, the generic as opposed to like the conscious creation and curation of a brand.
Yeah.
Because like if you look at a lot of these like generic sites or whatever not, there is no like, you know, principle behind it, no founding document, so to speak. You know,
there's no real idea behind it. It's just like, all right, cool. We're here. We're trying to make some money. Let's go. You put a bunch of ads out. You make some money, and then you move on to the next thing.
Yeah, but I mean, like, do you think like, and this is probably like a segue into something that maybe leads down a whole other rabbit hole. But like, do you think like this kind of serial entrepreneurship? Because that's what I call it. If you're constantly selling generic products and you jumping from one trend to the other, it's a form of serial entrepreneurship.
Yeah, it is serial entrepreneurship.
But do you think it's feasible and it's maintainable over a longer period of time?
I absolutely do think so. I mean, with the advent of technology, and technology in business has become one now, you could literally do anything and you could do it very fast. So this has created access to people who want to be serial entrepreneurs, so you'll be able to try things out and try them in a very timely manner.
But isn't it like energy intensive in a different way?
Honestly, bro, like it's not, because people also have learned the power of delegation and the power of outsourcing. Most of these people who do these things don't even do this stuff themselves.
Okay.
I mean, we have sites like Fiverr, where you could just go on and pay somebody a small fee and they'll build you a whole website. So if you wanted to try, say, a pair of shorts tomorrow, or a pair of leggings as the entry product into the business, you could literally get it done in 6 hours and have it out there in 12. So it's like, it's feasible. It's something you can do.
But creative burnout, like, isn't that going to, like, at some point contribute to creative burnout?
It could contribute to creative burnout, but if you were using, if that was one of the reasons why you started the business in the first place, for most people, I think they start the business to make money. It's never really about them expressing themselves or really caring about what's going on. It's just like, I found this product, I think it's selling, I'm gonna sell the shit out of it, and you have access to that. That could happen, and if you came in with the sole purpose of making money, I don't think you get tired of that. But if you're a person who's more grounded and you really care about the ideas that you come up with, it's a very natural process for you to want longevity, and hence you go the branding route and really try to figure out the systems, making sure that you have a functional business. It's a trade-off. You decide who you want to be first before you go in. And some serial entrepreneurs usually do a full circle after that because maybe they get tired or maybe they make enough money and they start caring about shit. You never know. It's,
Okay.
it goes back and forth, to be honest.
That's an interesting perspective, actually. Like, I've never really thought about, like, you know, somebody jumping from being a serial entrepreneur to just like settling down on one thing.
That's possible.
It feels more like, you know, there is a certain mindset that goes into being a serial entrepreneur as opposed to being a more dedicated or the classical form of an entrepreneur, because like in today's day and age of the internet, the serial entrepreneur is just selling the generic products, and from one generic product that's hot to the next and whatever not.
I have to mention this. Some serial entrepreneurs or some people that I know who have invested in so many different things at the same time, it's never really that they wanted to do all that, but they were doing it to test things. Yeah, they were just doing it to test things and really see which product or which niche is working out, so that they can come back and do their branding and actually have something that they've tested that is going to succeed for them.
So they basically use it as a research.
Pretty much, the research tool. It doesn't matter which way you go into it from. Most likely you end up being
invested in one particular thing that is your core product.
Exactly. And then you
build your brand around
you build a brand around that, and then you can have umbrellas where you can have some other small businesses around it, so you can get to be a serial entrepreneur in some way.
Okay.
You decide that. We're going to talk about AI now.
AI? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean...
Let's talk about this ChatGPT situation that's going on. Bro, they hit like 100 million yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before that? 100 mil. That means there's 100 fools out there. There's 100 million motherfuckers who are lazy and don't want to do work for themselves.
But herein lies the problem.
Where's the problem, bro?
You see, like, you have to approach humanity from its base instinct.
So now you're going to get all deep for no reason, bro.
No, it's not even deep. Like, every single human being is lazy. Every single invention.
Speak for yourself.
No, it's true. Listen, the funny thing is that people have negative connotations to laziness.
That's the same thing he said about procrastination. Oh, it's a form of self-care. Oh.
Listen.
Yeah.
Listen. Laziness isn't necessarily a negative thing. Okay. Yeah? Because laziness, like every invention you can think of was born from laziness.
That makes sense.
Everyone. Because like we are instinctively we are hardwired to seek always, because your brain is always trying to conserve energy. Like your brain is always trying to optimize conditions for you. And I guess it connects to, you know, survival instincts in some ways. But it's always trying to find an easier way to do something. And now we've gotten to the point where we've, basically created tools in the form of computers and programming and stuff like that simplify a lot of the labor-intensive, energy-intensive things that we would do.
So you think we do this because we're lazy?
Yeah, but not in a negative sense. So even creating like artificial intelligence that will now draw on, you know, a collection of resources more than you and I could possibly have in our brains to, you know, give you compact answers and relatively, how would I call it? Easily distilled ideas.
Yeah.
It's laziness that brought us to that point, to create a tool that could collect and distill knowledge that we couldn't possibly hope to collect and break down in a particular way, not even over your lifetime. You know? So there is that laziness that drives a certain amount of creativity that causes us to invent things that will reduce the amount of time
it takes us for us to come up with a...
Exactly.
Yeah. I do understand that, but don't you think this is also about, like, you have a very unique way of thinking. Everyone does. Don't you think that, for me, like, the benefit of AI is, like, you can connect all these brains? Because it's really the information that we feed into it that we get back out, no?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of these programs, some of them are like autonomous in a sense. Yeah.
They have a very small degree of autonomy. Otherwise,
yes and no. Like what I mean when I say they're autonomous, in the sense that whatever they generate, these programs, whatever they generate, is based upon a certain amount of input. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the input that you give them is the constraints.
yeah.
And everything else that it comes up with is its own autonomy. You know what I mean?
But
So-
is it really its own autonomy? Because it has to pull from a resource.
Yeah, it pulls from a large pool.
You know what I'm saying?
But let's say,
but then that large pool is a mixture of all our brains because we all put that information there.
yeah, but when and this is where the autonomy comes in. It selectively takes ideas from different sources and puts it into one small, document or
That's easily digestible
or
and
whatever it is.
regurgitated.
Yeah, and this is where the autonomy comes in because whatever keyword you give it will basically be the constraints. Like, don't look for anything outside of this.
Okay.
But anything that falls within these parameters, you are free to choose and assemble in whatever way. So yeah, there is a certain amount of autonomy involved, but at the same time, what you find happening is that whatever is the output after you've given it the constraints may not necessarily even be your idea of what it should be.
I understand.
So this tool cannot read your mind. It will therefore give you a generic output that is easily digested by a wide range of people or a relatively large audience based upon the fact that it is collecting information from several different sources that has been put there, and therefore it will only regurgitate something that will more or less appeal to several different sources. And I'll give you an example because I read this one article like where this woman was talking about, of all things, she wanted to write like a love letter to her husband.
Oh wow! And she wanted to use AI
for Valentine's Day. She actually did it. She actually fucking did it, bro.
This dumb shit, bro.
So she put like several keywords into this chat GPT, and it wrote like it wrote a letter, a love letter,
To the man.
Yeah. But here's the problem, and this is why I say like whatever word you put in there or the constraints that you give it is basically going to give you like a generic thing that is going to appeal to like based upon the fact that it's collecting from several different sources.
Yeah.
So this thing, it wrote a love letter, but every time it spoke about the man, it would use he.
Okay.
So it is very impersonal.
Okay.
So she had to go in there and tweak it. Like this woman, I think she's a writer for some newspaper or whatever now.
Okay.
And I don't know if she did it as a test or she seriously meant to write like a love letter to her husband. I have no idea. But this is what she wrote about, like what she did. And so she had to go in and tweak it so that every he would be you. And that personalized it in a way. So after like several minutes, I think she said it took like 20 minutes total.
Yeah, it's efficient.
And
It
then
would have taken her longer to write that letter anyway.
Nah, I don't think like if you really know who you're crafting a message for, I don't think it takes a long time.
It really depends on the person. Some people who want it to be perfect or whatnot, it takes longer than 20 minutes to write that kind of letter. You gotta think about and pull from, you gotta think about and pull from memories and personal happenings and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, but I mean, this thing still gave her a generic letter.
I mean, of
it
course.
just changed he to you,
I really do think also.
and it's crazy.
I really do think also. I mean, most of the letters that get written out there, they're quite generic too. I mean, you write things you've heard, things you've seen, movies. It's not like when you say your creativity, that's the stuff lying under your subconscious, bro. You've seen these things or you've heard these things.
Yeah, but like
It's not a
context.
completely new idea. What kind of effects you think this thing is gonna have on I'm really tempted to talk about business, but I don't want to go there yet. What do you think it's gonna do to like just our regular life and like our regular interaction as people?
What it's gonna do? I think it's gonna complicate our lives.
What?
Unnecessarily. Because
It's gonna complicate our lives.
Yeah.
Please explain.
Unnecessarily.
Okay.
Because how are you going to know when something is genuinely meant for you as opposed to something somebody who didn't have enough time to do just put into a program?
I have a question for you, bro.
You know?
If somebody writes your letter right now, how do you know that's from them?
Good question. It has a lot to do with the personal touch.
I could give somebody personal experiences that I've experienced with somebody else. I was like, you write that letter, but make sure you include this and this. Like Quentin Miller writes lyrics for Drake, and they sound just like Drake wrote them.
Yeah,
oh, are rappers gonna use this thing to write lyrics now?
Probably.
And is at this platform allowed to say the N-word, bro?
Niggas.
Actually, I'll try this later.
You gonna try it?
Yeah, on ChatGPT. I'll try with ChatGPT. What does the N-word mean?
Good.
What does the N-word mean? And then after
good
that,
test.
And then
good
after
test.
that, if I don't get a good answer there, because they also have constraints, like you say, they are programmed with like a counterintelligence situation. So the machine knows what it's not supposed to say, just like a human being is supposed to. But here's the thing: if it doesn't answer me what the N-word means, I'll ask the other way around. Who is a nigger?
I think the app will cancel me.
Bro, you go like, this is your first warning.
And like, who is a nigger? And then if I don't get an answer for that, I'm like, give me the characteristics
of a
nigger.
But bro, like on some serious shit, yeah? Like I think like I said, I think it's gonna like unnecessarily impact our lives in a negative sense. Because like we already have a hard time trusting just things that or information that we acquire.
Makes sense.
Because of the rise of fake news, for example.
Yeah. Hey, man.
And there is enough brain power that has to be used to sift through whatever information we get to discern what is fake news from what is genuine. And then here comes an artificial intelligence that is not necessarily going to give you fake news, so to speak, but it's a generic recreation of whatever keywords you give it. Which means that, and it goes back to what you were asking, like how would I know, like if you told somebody to write this letter, even if you did do that, the problem is going to be that you get generic answers, or you get a generic, what the fuck would you call it? You get a generic creation of something that is meant to be personal, yeah?
Yeah.
And then because like it's not like it's just one person who knows about AI.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like in the back of your head now, you're gonna always like be questioning, like especially if it's not referring to specific events, because this I think is the difference between like even if you ask somebody to write a letter. As opposed to putting it into ChatGPT, you would still reference specific events that only that person could add some kind of significance to. Yeah, it's these small things, these nuances in it. Yeah, the things that you can add significance to, like. Let's say I take the sunset out of it because that's originally what I was trying to get at, yeah? Like, let's say like we went to a party together, yeah? And then I could tell this program to write something about a party that I went to with a friend, you know? and it would write something that would sound like, oh shit, yeah, this is feasible, this is possible that this happened, you know. But let's say it would write like, we had a few beers and whatever not, you know, and then I would be like, bro, you remember that Heineken? And then it will be something specific, like just something specifically connected to us having Heineken.
I understand
Or like, you know, I can say we had whiskey, but like it will generate whiskey. But if I were saying it to you, then I would be like, yo, bro, we had cognac. It was Hennessy. You know what I mean?
It's definitely Hennessy.
That kind of thing.
What are you saying, Mel?
I think that if you know someone very well, you know the way they put together their sentences, you know what word they would use, and then I think you would notice it more easily. Like you just made a couple of examples of, like you would never say cognac, you would say Henny.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, specific references to things that will like
that have an impact on your friendship.
Exactly, and yeah, and that person will connect like immediately with like, oh yeah, that, because like saying is just, yeah, we keep talking about Hennessy. This is not an advertisement for Hennessy.
Sound like it is, but like, so now that we've covered that, what do you think are gonna be the effects of this on like business and stuff?
Like businesses are gonna use it to like create like generic marketing. Like I think like one of the things is going to be like, this is going to be a definite threat to like marketing departments in big companies.
Big facts.
Because it's going to create like generic campaigns.
Yeah.
And so what would take like a room full of people sitting down and brainstorming ideas and putting together a marketing campaign is, it will take 2 or 3 people to just sit down, write some shit in ChatGPT, and then like whatever output they get, they narrow it down and just like boom.
Don't say this so loud, bro. Some of us actually have businesses. So.
Well, it's facts. I think that's what's gonna happen. It will affect marketing. Like I think like that's the real, like the first place you're gonna see the real.
I'm gonna
impact.
rephrase my question. So what do you think the long-term effects are gonna be after it's become generic, after the whole place is saturated with a bunch of copy that comes from AI generators and stuff? What do you think the future of marketing looks like? Like, is there gonna be a point where people refrain from using AI, and that's what makes you different?
It could be, but what I do know is that it is going to eliminate, or at the very least, it is going to have a very big impact on marketing departments and the way things are marketed to customers.
It does make a lot of sense, because the amount of work that goes into writing copy is crazy. Instagram descriptions, new products, and just trying to find the best way to phrase something so that it resonates with the person that you're trying to reach. This is work that usually takes a human being. Like, you gotta do work to get this done together and get it done the right way.
Yeah, because you're crafting a message.
You gotta craft a message, but you give a machine this generator, these parameters, and in a matter of seconds, it gives you the exact same thing or better. And this is what's crazy about it. It's scary.
Well, I never use it.
I've been using it. I gotta confess, I've been using it, and the trick is not to use it that way. The trick is to have the idea in your head, have it so clear that you can tell somebody else. So you can tell somebody else, and what they give you back is almost like I ask a friend to rephrase what I just said.
Okay.
Instead of asking it to do the job for you.
Okay.
I think that is what we should be using this thing for. You know what you're doing. I know what I'm doing. I know what my marketing strategy looks like, who I wanted to get to. I write down everything that I need to, and I just get that to get the message. Just crystallize it, just to make it clear. Okay. So that it can cut through and penetrate to them.
What are you saying no more?
Yeah.
I think that short term, it will have good effects. Just like you say, it can simplify a lot of stuff for small businesses, but also for other people.
And big businesses. Yeah.
But I am really scared of how this will affect the development of our youth. That will, instead instead of using their own creativity, their own, and start to develop all the skills you need to actually like write those essays, do those marketing things and all this, they will do the shortcut and use someone else to do this and develop the skills they
I have
will
a question
need.
for you though. Why do they need to develop that if it's already getting developed?
Because I think, for me, or as I see it, the creativity is something you have in a certain amount, depends on how creative you are as a person, but I also think it's something you need to feed and to develop. It's not something that is just there. And if you don't do that, you will end up being a grown-up without any creativity or imagination.
Don't you think that we've been able to evolve for thousands of years? Don't you think we can evolve out of this one too?
Wait. I'm gonna hit you with a question.
Did you say mm-mm?
Come in, Judy. Come on.
AI is the future. AI will definitely surpass. It can only we spoke about this. I told you that people are going to lose their jobs.
They should.
And I learned that someone is actually in China working, trying to find an app for ChatGPT detector, because most of my guys.
Yeah, they be using ChatGPT.
What did I tell you yesterday?
The way I know that.
I told you that, you see, for every piece of technology that is developed that has the potential to be disruptive, there's somebody that's going to work on something to neutralize this disruptive technology. But
we're going to be fine, guys.
No. Wait, I have to...
Because I'm pretty sure it's not only us who have thought about the effects of this.
You know what? I'm going to hit more with something because, I'm tempted to play devil's advocate here.
You love to play devil's advocate. That's like your thing.
I am the devil. Oh, shit. Yeah.
It's okay. Cut that out, too.
Confession time. Yeah. But I'm going to hit you with something. Mm-hmm. Because, I think we should view, AI and the developments of, technology in general through the same lens. Mm-hmm. Because I want you to tell me, how many telephone numbers do you know off the top of your head right now? 20? 30? Okay.
You know 30 phone numbers?
That you could recite, just like that.
You could tell me.
Really?
30 phone numbers.
Because we don't have cell phones at work. So I have to learn all the numbers.
Okay, it is situational. You have no choice.
I would say, except for that, friends and family's numbers, I know, my family, my siblings and my parents, because they have been having the same numbers since I got my first phone. So
you want to know how many telephone numbers I know off the top of my head?
One.
Exactly. You want to know whose number that is?
Hopefully it's your own.
Exactly. It's my own. But this is a funny thing with technology.
I know two, by the way. I lied yesterday.
You lied?
I know mine, I don't know the police.
But that's what I said, people's numbers. I know a lot of government.
And I know the one for and Fedora, obviously.
Bro, you know the number to the feds?
It's called Fedora?
I don't know Fedora number.
You know the number to
complaints.
No, what you talking about Fedora? No, I want to. You know the number to the feds, bro.
I do.
Both of them, of course.
I do. You know what? Because my worst fear is getting
the trust has been broken.
Listen. You know why I know the number to the feds?
No.
Because one time, I want to call the police on the police. You understand what I'm saying? So if I'm going outside and get violated by somebody, by police, and I feel profiled or whatever, I would like a supervisor come check shit out. That's it. I'm serious.
You sound like a whole Karen, bro.
Yeah, that's right.
You sound like a Karen.
Anyway, whatever. I don't sound like a Karen on that one, but I want the police.
I want to speak to the manager.
Or police. I said, who are you calling? The police? Who the police? I'm calling the other police to come and make sure that you do the right job.
Bro.
Because I don't be trusting these cops.
But anyways, my whole point was this, yeah? Mm-hmm. I remember as a kid, I had to I'll go to the payphone and so I'm a dinosaur.
No,
not that one. No, dude, no.
We have one of those.
Yeah, the one that you can move all the way from the the living room all the way to the kitchen when it rings.
Jesus Christ, bro, no.
I'm gonna talk to.
I'm old, but I'm not that old. Anyways.
You called yourself
but-
a dinosaur, bro. Like, it wasn't us.
Yeah. But like, there's differences between dinosaurs and dinosaurs. Anyways, but you know what? I remember them times, yeah? You had to know the number, like from your head. Or you had like this little book, like
fun book.
You had a little book that you write your friend's number in it.
Yellow,
and that kind of thing. But eventually, over time, you memorize your friend's number. Of
course you got to.
Because like, it wasn't like you had a lot of numbers that you was going to call. No. You just had like these list of people that you really needed to call. And that shit costs money. So like, bro, I want to be calling you like, bam, 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 bam. I don't want to be looking through no book, pressing the number. Like, no, fuck that. And so, like, eventually you memorize the numbers.
Yep.
And
Do you remember them?
Fuck no.
Because I still remember all my childhood friends.
Fuck that. Like,
no. You don't gotta remember my number.
I have like other shit to read.
It's in your phone.
I replaced that shit with other shit.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
over time, what happened was like, with the advent of cell phones, so like, lucky me, I was around from, like, pay phones and then the landlines and then it was dial-up internet.
Say dial-up internet. What's that?
And then them prehistoric.
Did you use dial-up internet?
Bro,
Did you use flash disk too?
Listen, I used to use a flop. It's not a flash disk, dude. You see, this is why I know you're not from that generation. Yeah?
Floppy disk?
Exactly.
The square one?
It's called a floppy.
The little square one?
Listen, and it's not just any floppy. You have to understand this. There is differences between floppy disks, bro. Okay? There's differences between... Like, you see these millennials, yeah?
Like, so listen.
There is differences between floppy. Tell this man about the differences between the floppies, yeah?
I mean, whatever, man. We got AI now.
So let's skip that one.
Have you ever seen a computer that uses a floppy disk?
Whatever, bro. We have AI. Wait, was it a Dell computer? Dell.
There's lots of other computers that had floppy drives. But
AI.
the point was this, yeah? Technology made it possible for me not needing to have like numbers in my memory.
So did it make you stupid or did it make you smart?
It's not that it made you stupid or smarter.
Or it made you more efficient.
It came back. It actually comes back to what I was saying earlier about laziness, and which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it can prove detrimental in certain situations. Like now, I don't need to memorize numbers. Like I just pull up my phone, boom. All right, cool. That number, call it. Yeah? And so I get to use my brain cells for other shit, like, I don't know, drowning them in cognac. Stuff like that. But
yeah, what's up?
What are you saying more?
There is actually new studies made that have showed that due to that we don't have to use our memory in the same way because we have everything stored in our phones, we have, like, our memories are getting worse.
Progressively worse, yes.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing like with calculators.
And also, due to all the social media stuff, our attention span is getting
significantly shorter.
What I was trying to say is, like, I think that we can rebuild our brain, but the longer we let them go backwards, the longer it will take to rebuild them.
The hardest going to be to bring them back to the original glory.
Yeah, and everything that shows right now says that we will not go in that way. Like, for example, in Sweden right now, there is a big thing where kids doesn't even learn to write with their hands. Like, they are only learning to write on the computer, which actually affect their ability to use their hands properly. Not just for writing, but
their motor skills are kind of messed up.
The tactile functions. But here's the thing, yeah? And this is why I specifically pointed out just the use of your cell phone, for example, and the role of your brain in remembering numbers and then not needing to remember numbers and stuff like that, yeah? This is not a one-off. It is a general, gradual progression, because you could basically say like this started with the calculator, yeah. The advent of this mass loss of memory, and even just the cutting down of your attention span started, in my opinion, with the calculator. Because when you no longer needed to sit down and manually think through how to work a problem, then you started already there just giving up the actual functions and processes of coming to the answer. Because you could just punch a bunch of numbers on your little calculator and it will spit out an answer to you. So AI has its foundations built in the fucking calculator. If I smell grass, and this is a big fucking deviation from what the fuck we was talking about before.
Imagine we started with AI, we end up on grass.
No, but the thing is, ironically, I don't think that we've really strayed that much from AI.
No, we
because like
our conversations usually go like this.
it's still like the thing is that AI is based on brain function and sorting information. And this is one of the drawbacks, in my opinion, of AI compared to like a human brain. There are things that a human brain can associate with, and it goes even back to what I was saying, like, you know, it could generically say like we had some beers, but I could specifically reference to the fact that we had Heineken.
Or Tuborg.
For that matter. But like one of the things is like that the olfactory senses are also like, most people don't think about it, and therefore when it does happen, you get a sense of deja vu. Now, I could smell grass, cut grass, specifically cut grass, on a rainy day. Very specific. Yeah? It has to be a certain kind of grass, and it has to be wet. It has to have rain on it.
I understand.
And I will remember a very specific day and time. I can't tell you the date. I can't tell you the day of week. I just remember this particular day at a particular time. There's an interval. It's not an exact time.
Yeah.
And where I was.
Yeah.
Once I smell that particular smell, it takes me back to that exact place.
Isn't that a kind of conditioning?
No, because this happened once. Like, it's just one particular day. It's not like a repeated thing that then becomes a part of like a memory that is compact or you know, a collection. It is only of one particular day. And it's not just any grass. It's not just any time of day. All of these things have to be right.
Conditions have to be right.
And it will take me back, just boom, to that time and place. And it's my auntie's house. It's funny, yeah?
Snitch.
No, it's not snitch. Like, I was at my auntie's. Like, I would normally, like, not normally either, to be honest, because it was a thing to go to my auntie's. Because we live, like, in the middle of Jamaica. And my auntie or my mom's family, they live on the west end of Jamaica. And so for us going there for, like, the summer was a big thing.
Yeah, it sounds like
It was a really big thing. And so I was at my auntie's. And it was between 12 and maybe 3. This particular day, it was sunny. It had just rained. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like, there's just a connection to that.
I can see how, and that's a good memory too.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's like there is nothing else that I remember except sunshine, and it had just rained. Like that's just it. Like
And that smell of grass.
and that is something that cannot be distilled by a computer.
True.
Like I could tell it whatever the fuck I want.
True.
I could put whatever keywords that connect me to that particular day, but it will never recreate the feeling.
I think it will give you more like a chemical breakdown on how that happens in your brain and
Yeah,
what,
it could probably tell you, but
how
like
those kind of memories are formed. Just like
but it still wouldn't make it any more like real.
No.
It couldn't compare
no.
in terms of, so that is like, if we're gonna tie into the whole AI thing, is that it will always give you a generic recreation of what the collection of information that it can draw on will say about whatever input you've given it.
Bro, don't you think that, you know, there's evolution in everything, even machines.
Of course.
I believe that it's gonna be a day, we might not live to see it, but the AI is gonna be so perfect that it's gonna be almost like a human. Because it's getting fed
Hey,
so much
listen,
information every day.
Listen, bro, we are not far from that day. It will happen.
Yeah.
It will happen in your lifetime.
It's like so perfect almost. Like
It will happen in your lifetime.
I've tried ChatGPT, and dude, that machine is scary.
I haven't, and I'm not going to.
So-
Like,
I just got a crazy thought. if now we're talking about using the AI as the marketing tool or
Yeah.
marketing creator.
Oh yeah, that's where we stopped up before.
What when we start to have AIs that are the shoppers? How will that affect the whole messaging and feeling on the brand when it's the machine that does the shopping for people that just knows that this is what you like?
Well, we already have that problem.
Do you think we're ever gonna get to that point?
But
Yeah, for
we
sure.
are there.
Rich people will for sure have,
Bro,
they
no.
already hire shoppers.
Bro,
I mean, like I think this is what we call bots.
bro, we are already there. What do you mean? Like, we are already there in terms of like machines doing the shopping for you. Here is the difference.
Wait, you gotta explain that before you just skate away from it.
No, I am not skating. I'm gonna explain what I mean.
Okay.
We're already there in the sense that the companies that are selling you shit, yeah, have gathered so much information about your preferences and all the things that you probably would like through AI, yeah, that they're targeting of you. The only thing that you actually really do in your shopping is press buy and pay. That is how far along AI is, because you've already been fed, you've already been primed, and you are given the tools to just take you to press that buy button. So like, we are already there where AI and the machines are doing our shopping for us, because it's times that you are on Instagram. Me, for example, I'm on Instagram, and like I am just scrolling, and then it's like I see like Clarks come up, like I'm like, yo, these Clarks is fire, and in the back of your head, sometimes you wonder, like, how the fuck
Did they know?
You know what I mean? And the fact of the matter is, and this is actually quite funny, and I'm gonna let you jump in a second more, but this is actually very, very interesting because I did not know this.
Okay.
Do you know that every time you visit a website and they have this "I am not a robot," do you know what you're actually doing when you click on that?
You prove that you're still active.
No.
What are you doing?
When you click on "I am not a robot," you give them permission to pull all of your browsing history. And what they do is that once you click "I am not a robot" and you verify that, the terms and conditions of clicking on "I am not a robot" is long, and all of it is about you giving permission for your history, your browsing history, to be checked and cross-referenced with all of the sites that you visit, all of your activity, because your activity verifies that you're human. And so once you do that, whenever you go on Instagram, like you just been on a site, you press "I'm not a robot," you didn't think about it, like you didn't give...
I don't think about that very much.
No, but you deny all the cookies. Yeah, this is a
I
funny
said,
thing.
pick all the pictures here. Pick all the pictures here that are
Yeah.
over bridge.
And then "I am not a robot."
I'm not a robot. It's even too far. Every cookie that you press OK, you know, there are some sites you just have to press accept. If not, so
You can't see the site if you don't press accept.
Yeah, the best way is to go through what do they call it? The
Incognito.
Incognito to just bypass
All that nonsense.
But like I did machine learning in school, and the machine learning is all about getting data, and we've already started using AI without recognizing. So how AI works, it works in connection with machine learning, in the sense that it feeds every information that's been generated from past events,
Past activities.
and results. So they compile them together. Like this face ID, it's a trained machine learning that is a trained AI with information of capturing how your eye. So if I was to use it and you're to use it, someone else might not be able to. So it's all consistent with how AI and machine. But how AI works, it works with machine learning. Data has to be fed, of which the world we operate in. ChatGPT only stopped from 2021.
Yeah.
So I guess the advance might come with premium.
Yeah, they're gonna make you pay for it.
No. But you want to know the crazy thing, yeah? Because this is also something I was reading yesterday.
You guys like this topic, huh?
Google has a version of
I saw it.
and Google's version. I told you this yesterday.
Yeah, you did.
Google's version is not based on feeding it information. Google's version is based on
real-time
gathering
learning, yeah, man.
real-time information.
Real-time learning.
And
you're telling me
that is crazy.
Can't wait.
Because
It's not.
they're beta testing now.
It's better testing. I'm waiting till that for the
But-
polished product.
But
Take
that
all my
is-
money, bro.
No, but that is crazy. Imagine like
Take it.
something just happened 5 minutes ago, and you could ask it, and they're going to integrate this into into Google search and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's even why I said like all of these things that we're thinking. Like the funny thing is that we might just be having a casual conversation about this, and we're thinking like that it's not here. It is already, and it has been here. You know, so like machines or computers buying for us. Like the only thing that we're actually doing in this buying process is pressing buy. You know what I mean?
And you think you got style, huh? You got swag.
You know, all of these things that you think you've made conscious decisions about, unfortunately, most of the times you haven't really made a conscious decision. You've been fed information to the point where you are convinced that this is
crazy,
what you
bro.
want.
Crazy.
And
Like we spoke about this.
I know it, but I gotta let somebody else speak.
this man.
What are you gonna say more?
No, skip it. It's 10 minutes and then.
10 minutes in it. I think AI is gonna make us better.
Yes and no.
Bro, why you all like? I say I think. I didn't say I think, and sometimes I don't. I think.
Team, the ChatGPT is not 100%.
I know.
Yeah, but you need to, like the way we tried.
I
You
mean,
need to know there are some little flaws, but if you don't have an idea of how to like patch them, it's like copy and paste. Then you're like having just like a prerequisite of what you need to do, and you're missing few information.
yes, you're
But
missing.
it can only make you better in the sense that if you have an idea of what to do. But the only thing that will last long is the people behind the AI. The people tells the AI
What to say or what to do.
But-
Isn't that us? Isn't that us who feed it information?
But herein lies the
No.
problem.
No, yes,
I mean, so you're saying like
no.
moderators and stuff? They have moderators?
Not moderators,
Yeah,
but
AI.
you have data scientists that are behind the programming of this thing. And here's the problem with all of that, yeah?
You like
We're-
problems.
I don't like problems. I like to think.
I don't want peace. I want problems. Always.
It's not about like me wanting problems.
Yeah.
It's just that like I tend to question things a lot. And therefore you put them in problem format in order to, somewhat come to a conclusion or possible answers.
But you know you're very flexible, bro. Like the way you talk about things, it's almost like you're leaving yourself a way out always. Like, no, you could just say like, I think AI is gonna be good for us. That's it. No. I mean like this, like, but like, your favorite word to use. What was your favorite word to use? I'm not for or against.
I'm on the fence, bro.
I really want to know.
I'm Switzerland. I'm neutral.
You don't think it's gonna make us better?
No.
No. Because you think it's gonna make us lazy and not efficient.
It's not just lazy.
And it's gonna take away the persona. It's gonna be impersonal.
What I think is going to be the end game with AI is that if we let it, we will all become drones. We will all think alike, act alike, and we will lose what intrinsically makes us human beings. We will lose individuality.
Man, say intrinsically.
Yeah, I know. Like, come on, like that's not a big word.
It's actually humongous.
I mean, come on, this dude. Like, anyways, my whole point is this.
Intrinsic with a straight face, fam.
What do you mean? Dude, I can't help it if I do verbal gymnastics now and then, okay? Now and then.
Okay, sorry, bro.
Anyways, but it is going to affect us in a negative sense because our tendencies, and this is why I think it's a negative thing, our tendencies as human beings, because of how the brain is, which is always to use the least amount of power. Like your brain is always trying to maximize its collective gain for the least amount of energy expended.
Yeah.
And so what we're going to end up with in the future probably is that people will only want to just like, I will type this to get a response.
Yeah.
And then critical thinking dies because you don't analyze your source of information. You just take what you've been given, and your creativity also dies.
She's saying something about that too.
Because you no longer want to think outside of the box. You no longer want to push the boundaries of, or you don't want to do things that will drive debate or invite any kind of constructive or even negative criticism. So you basically start to narrow down the scope of your existence as a human being, and what you will get over time is conformity across the board, because instead of us setting parameters for this tool, it will start to set parameters for us.
Well,
and the real worry is that, not to cut you off, but the real worry is that this thing will become so fucking advanced and outstrip our understanding of how it is performing, and this is going to probably scare the fuck out of you, but I think it will become, AI at some point will become so close to being human, or even become, because then we are going to have to start questioning what is human and what isn't. I think AI will eventually become self-aware. What is going to happen, unfortunately for us, is that we will become so much more dependent on AI and these tools that they will eventually gather so much information to the point where that, because this is something that you probably don't know, and this shit scared the fuck out of me. Do you know that AI has actually created a language that no human being understands? And there are like 2 AI programs that have been communicating in a language that no human being understands.
I don't know that. And
dude, look it up. Google
bro,
it.
just shut it off.
Listen.
Shut off the machine.
We are going to get, because if there are...
You're like, doing too much.
Bro.
Bye-bye.
Listen, AI has already made a language that no human understands.
Okay.
The only reason that like scientists know that this, or data scientists know that this is a language, is because it kept repeating the same fucking thing.
Okay.
And that's when they realized that these programs, these 2 programs that they were messing around with, were actually communicating with each other.
Okay.
Yeah? And like the send and receive, like these interactions going back and forth, like one thing was a direct response to information from
the other machine.
So it is going on. And like, imagine having machines that could communicate in a way that you don't understand. Our talk today is about, how we can use it and this and that, and how we can, grow and develop our businesses and all of those kind of things with these tools. But we are going down a really dangerous rabbit hole. It is going to go from being
it's
something...
cool, bro. Relax.
Nah, bro. Trust
scaring
me.
people out here. And by the way, it's been listening to the whole conversation. You're about to get work today.
No. Maybe yours is, but like mine don't.
I left my shit on.
You left what on?
It's typing right now.
You have ChatGPT on?
Yeah, it's on. Mine's always on. I gotta ask his stuff. All right, sign off, bro. Tell him. We didn't even cover everything.
Nah.
We will just make a part 2 out of this one.
Nah. But this went deep for me.
It was a fun conversation still.
Yeah, but anyways, before we leave, just please, whatever means you use to communicate, try to communicate authentically Even if you use, your chat GPT or whatever not to refine your messaging or whatever not, try to ensure that whatever you're communicating is still being passed on from you, in a sense that it is not disassociated from your brand, it is not disassociated from your core values, and just let you and your brand and your messaging and all your values shine through in whatever message you send out, regardless of how you craft or how you refine that message. And with that being said,
thank you for hanging out with us tonight. See you next time.
Yeah, next time.
Bye bye bye.
All right, cool. Yeah.
Bro, you're saying something.